Hi everyone, Janie here and welcome to my kitchen where today I'm going to be making some candles using the Luxe Candle Starter Kit from Village Craft and Candle. And if you missed the unboxing of this kit, don't worry. I'm going to have a link to it right here on the screen as well as on the screen as the video is ending. But no worries, you're going to see most of what's in that kit today. And by the way, this is a beginner-friendly tutorial. So let's get started. So to start off, let's go over the supplies that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be using the Freedom Coconut Wax Beads. That is an all-natural, rich blend of coconut and soy waxes, and instructions are included on the packaging as well as in the kit. And I'm going to be using my microwave, so I'll be using this microwave-safe glass measuring cup that holds 8 cups, even though I won't be using that much. But the kit does come with a small pour pot that can be used as a double boiler when used with a saucepan, but I'm not going to be doing that because I have an induction stove and it uses special pans, and so I would just rather use my microwave. But I am going to use that pour pot when measuring out the wax beads, and talking about measuring, I'll be using my digital kitchen scale for that. And other supplies I'll be using include wicks and the wick stickums to hold the wicks in the bottom of the jars, and those are included in the kit along with the fragrances and the jars. And I'll be using a few additional things that did not come in the kit, like a wooden stir stick, but you can use a wooden spoon or just something you pick up at the Dollar Tree, and also a candy thermometer, but I'm sure that any kitchen thermometer should work. And I'll be using a wick centering tool, but when it's time for that, I'll talk to you about some other options. Okay, I think that covers the supplies, and I am ready to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the wicks put into the jars, and be sure that your jars are clean before you get started. And I'm using one of the black jars and one of the white frosted jars, and I'm adding the stickum stickers to the bottom of each wick and attaching them to the center of the bottom of the jar. Now, it's not always easy to get your hands down in there to press those down firmly, but I have a tip. If you happen to have a straw, you can stick the wick up inside and use the straw to push down on the metal piece to help it firmly adhere to the bottom of the jar. When you put the wick up into the straw, just pinch the wick through the straw to hold everything in place. And now that the jars are ready, I'm going to measure out the wax. And according to the instructions that come with the kit, I need to measure out 450 grams of the coconut soy wax. And I looked it up, and 450 grams is almost 1 pound. So I'm going to be using the pot that came in the kit to measure the wax. And so to be accurate, I weighed the pot first to see how much it weighs, and it weighs 0.317 ounces. So I know that when I add the wax, it needs to come to 1 pound, 0.317 ounces. And now I'm going to pour that into my glass measuring cup and start the microwave process. According to the instructions, it should be microwaved in 30-second increments on full power and stirred after each 30 seconds until the wax is fully liquid. And I suggest using something like a hot pad or a trivet to set the glass measuring cup on to protect your countertop. I happen to have quartz countertop and it can handle heat, but I personally don't like taking any chances. Okay, so obviously this process is going to take a little time, and even if I speed things up, it's a lot like watching paint dry. But to keep you occupied, there's some things I wanted to talk to you about, and this is a good time to do it. So once the wax is melted, I'll be adding the fragrance, and according to the instructions that came with the kit, you should add the fragrance when the wax reaches approximately 140 degrees. But on the bag of wax for the microwave directions, it just says to stir in the fragrance and or color when the wax is fully liquid. And then it needs to immediately be poured into the candle jar. I'll be checking the temperature with the candy thermometer after the wax is completely liquid, but I think if you're using a microwave and you don't have a candy thermometer, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, now let me talk about fragrance for a minute. The kit comes with 3 different floral fragrances, and each bottle is 30 ml. And according to the instructions that come with the kit, that one of those bottles is the perfect amount to use when using the 450 grams of wax. And by the way, if I did not mention it before, I thought I should let you know that I'm using the amount of wax and fragrance that will be perfect to make 2 candles in the 9-ounce Luxe candle jars that came with the kit. Another thing I wanted to mention about fragrance is Village Craft & Candle has an amazing selection of fragrances, including some of my favorites, which are food fragrances like Blueberry Fritter and Candy Cane Mochaccino and Cinnabon, just to name a few. And I'll have a link below in the description box to the scents that they have so that you can scroll through and see for yourself. By the way, in this video, I didn't discuss adding coloring to the candles because I didn't do that. But you would do that at the same time that you add the fragrance, and you would use the coloring that is made for candles, which you would of course be able to find on the Village Craft & Candle website that is listed below in the description box. Okay, so now the wax is completely liquid without any little pieces of wax left, and I'm using my candy thermometer to check the temperature. And I'm just letting that set for a minute, but it didn't reach the correct temperature, so I'm putting it back in the microwave for another 30 seconds, even though it is already melted, because I want to bring that temperature up a little bit. And this time I put the candy thermometer in again, and it reaches the correct temperature. Okay, it is time to stir in the fragrance. And it was a tough decision, but I decided to use Kaleidoscope Days. And I'm just going to stir that thoroughly, but slowly, because I don't want to create any bubbles. And then, without any further ado, I am pouring the wax into the candle jars. Sorry about my hand getting in the way. I'm just trying to get equal amounts in each of the candle jars, and also trying to not make a mess. And that is a good reason to have something under the jars like the coasters that I used. And now I'm centering the wicks, and for the one on the left I'm using a wick centering tool, and for the one on the right I'm just using 2 popsicle sticks to hold the wick in place, because I wanted to show you another option in case you don't have a wick centering tool. And with the magic of video, it is now the next day and the candles are set and ready for the wicks to be trimmed down to about 1/4 inch. Now to finish things off, you can always decorate the outside of the candle jars, and there are many ways to do that, and today I'm just going to mention a few of them. Like these adhesive jewel borders from Dollar Tree, and these decorative jewel border stickers or other adhesive jewels, and a variety of vinyl stickers and clear stickers like these, or mesh jewel trim like I'm going to be using today. Those type of things are the easiest to use, but there are many other things to decorate them with. Okay, now I've moved into my craft room, and one of the things I'm going to use is this jeweled mesh trim. And I'm going to be attaching that with Beacon Fabri-Tac because I have contacted the company and found out that this glue is not flammable once it is dried. And it is also a permanent glue that adheres to a variety of surfaces. And while I'm attaching that, I thought I would let you know that soy wax, when burned, stays cool to the touch, which means that the candle jar will not get hot. And I'm sure that you have noticed with pre-made candles like Yankee candles that those jars also don't get hot. But if you want to be extra careful, then I would set the candle jar on something like a coaster or a hot pad. Okay, this candle jar is finished and I think it looks really pretty. And on to the next candle jar. I'm using an empty tape roll to hold the jar in place while I decorate it. And I've decided to use the clear stickers that I got from Temu. And I thought of using the beautiful jewel borders from the Dollar Tree, but I decided the stickers were perfect without anything else. By the way, if you like these stickers, they're actually called PET Transparent Waterproof Stickers, and I got them on Temu, and I will put a link to them below in the description box. I actually ordered a variety of these stickers, and this is my first time ever using them, and I am loving how easy they are to work with and how beautiful they look on this jar. Well, I had fun making these candles, and I am so happy with how they turned out. If you are new to candle making, or even if you're not new to candle making, and you're looking for a place to get some candle making supplies, I will have links below in the description box to Village Craft and Candle, as well as a link to their starter kits, and also a link to the page with all of their amazing scents for your candles. And also they were nice enough to give me a discount code for you as well, so be sure to check out the description box below. And also, leave me a comment because I would love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.